I don't particularly like traveling by myself, and especially in a country where I don't know any of the language and there's nobody there to know that you can't communicate. You can be in Korea and there's no one around you that speaks any English. So I was very glad that they had told me that this young lady named Linda Lee was going to be there to meet me at the airport. So I just had a small bag, but didn't bring suitcases because I'm going to take neckties back. They're going to be my suitcases. So I just quickly get my carry-on and I come out of there. And when I come through immigration and I come out, I'm looking for this person that's supposed to meet me. Because I'm apprehensive. I've never been to Korea before. And so I'm looking, and I see off in the distance, about back here where the cameraman is, I see a young lady standing there with a little white piece of paper, and it has my name on it. And she's just standing there real stoic. I mean, even at that distance, I could see she had a scowl. She looks like somebody that's just out of MTV. I don't know the lingo, but I mean, she's dressed real in black. Not quite Gothic, no, but it was close. That was even before Gothic. That was probably pre-Gothic. But it was very, I don't know enough about the culture, but I knew that she was whatever was supposed to be happening, And so, even at this distance, I really thought we made, so I raised my hand and I go, and I could tell we made eye contact. But she didn't move. So I took a few, I got my little trolley in this hand, and with this hand I'm going. And I'm going, why won't she acknowledge me? And so every few steps I'm kind of going, and so finally, I get close and I'm just kind of like, ta-da! It's me! And so then she takes a step forward, sticks out her hand, very glad to meet you. And I thought, no, you're not. You're irritated that it's 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning and you had to come and get me at the airport. And that may be the least of your irritation. I'm just thinking, I know enough about the culture, I'm going to buy product from her, so she's going through the motions. It's very nice to meet you. And then she says that, and she turns around and starts walking off. I presume I'm supposed to follow her. So I got my little trolley, and she's just trucking. So we're going out, go outdoors, out into a car park. She hasn't said another word. Get into the car. I put my little suitcase in the back, and she gets to the driver's side, of course. It was a large, like a Toyota Crown, a quite big, roomy car. And I get in, and she's driving. And we start driving. And I'm sitting there looking, and she's driving and looking. And I look, and she's hasn't said a word. 15 minutes have gone by. She hasn't said one word. So I'm thinking, if I'm going to do any business with this young lady, and I'm thinking God business. I'm thinking, I start thinking, I need to find out about her. And I'm not good at cold turkey conversations. It's not my cup of tea just to talk to a stranger. So, it's kind of fine with me if we don't talk. But the Holy Ghost nudges me and says, you need to start a conversation with her. So, I said to her, have you ever been to Singapore? She goes, yeah, I was there about 6 months ago, didn't like it. I just wanted to strangle her right then. You can't talk about Singapore that way. I've never heard anybody say they didn't like Singapore. What's wrong with you, woman? Well, being a little bit sensitive like I am, that just kind of, it's like, I mean, my flesh says, well, then forget it. I don't want to have no conversation with you anyhow. Telling me, talking to me like that. And 5 minutes passes by, and the Holy Ghost nudges me and says, ask her something else. And I said to God, I don't think she wants to talk. God says, talk to her. So I'm thinking, what can I say to her? She's already shot me down on Singapore. So I says, I understand that you lived in America for a while. Now, she's never looked at me yet. She's just driving. And she goes, yes, I lived in L.A. for about 3 years. She said, but I had to come back. Because my father's real sick. And my brother wouldn't come. He's still in L.A. So I'm going, She's mad because, see, culture, the eldest son's supposed to come back and take over the family business. But her brother wouldn't do it. So family put pressure on her to come. And she did. And she's real happy about it. You can tell. I mean, and so I'm like, and then the Holy Ghost nudges me. You say, well, how do you know this is the Holy Ghost? Because I know I don't think up things like this. I don't put myself in this position if it's left up to me. You say, is it that simple? Well, I found out that God doesn't yell. He likes shouting. Strangely enough, God really loves shouting. But he doesn't seem to be much of a shouter himself. I mean, that's the way it works with me. The first time he wants me to do something, the first time I gave a message in tongues, the reason why I did it is because I thought I would die if I didn't. I thought I was going to explode, and or that if I didn't, that God was just going to say, you're just the most stubborn individual I've ever met in my entire life. Away with you. But ever since then, ever since that first time, God just whispers very gently. He put his hand so strong on me the first time. Usually the first time for me, it's pretty dramatic. But after that, he just whispers. And so, the Holy Ghost whispers to me and says, tell Linda that I'm going to bless her. I said, really? I mean, I'm thinking, pray tell, why? And God said, I'm going to bless her because she's honored her father. And come home, and she's helping with the business. And God said, you need to tell her. I said, God, I don't think she's interested. Well, by now, we've gotten off the freeway. We're weaving through the city. And so I said to Linda, I said, Linda, I said, you probably don't know this about me. I said, but I'm a minister of the gospel. Now, she hasn't looked at me yet. In this whole entire time, we've been in the car 35 minutes or more. And I said, and God talks to me. I highly recommend it as an icebreaker. Next time you get in an elevator with about 20 people in a 50-story building, punch that button number 50 and then turn around and tell them, God talks to me. Oh yeah, they're going to be punching them buttons. I got to get off the elevator. So now I've got Linda's attention. And I said, and God was just talking to me about you. She goes, oh, really? Really? And I said, yes. And she said, what did he say? And I said, He said that he's going to bless you because of you coming back from America and helping your dad with the business.